Hello, you guys. I am still in complete shock. I cannot believe I'm making this video. I am pregnant. I still am in complete disbelief. I think it's taken like a while for it to kind of kick in and settle, I guess. I've taken 1,000,001 pregnancy tests, even though I work in healthcare, and I know that it's very difficult to get a false positive. Totally happens to get a false negative. In fact, it happened on Atticus. Like, we were with him, we were trying for a very long time, and we had gone on holidays to Kos in Greece, and I was gonna have a glass of wine that night, and I remember being like, I might just check one last time. And I think I'd taken like a bajillion tests before then, so I actually got a positive. Like, I think I was like, 3 weeks past my missed period, but I just hadn't checked. So this time around, we got pregnant the first month trying, which is so hard for me to kind of get my head around because it took us so long. For those of you who don't know, I had a miscarriage before I got pregnant with Atticus, and we were kind of trying for almost a year for that pregnancy. We called her Daisy, a little baby girl called Daisy, who I lost fairly far on in pregnancy. So it's sort of a scary time for any of you who've had pregnancy loss and then gone on to get pregnant afterwards. It's like a whole other thing. You're always scared. So I think that's why I'm not like screeching down the camera. Yes, I'm excited, and I still I think what I've taken from last time, I'm kind of rambling. What I'm taking from that was that I want to celebrate everything that's different about this pregnancy, and celebrate every milestone, because I think that whether or not you come to the realization that you're pregnant, and whether or not you come to acknowledge it, you still grieve the loss of that pregnancy just as hard. So I'm trying my best to kind of realize that this is actually happening. So I'm exactly 11 days post-ovulation, which was fairly hard to track, because for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you'll know I was 14 months postpartum with Atticus when I got my period back. So I'm going to do a whole other video actually talking about what I did to help my cycle return. I'm still nursing, I'm still breastfeeding, and we're still co-sleeping. So we're still doing all the things that technically people would say to cut down on or to reduce if you're trying to get your period back. But I did some other things which I think really, really helped. So I'm definitely going to share a video talking all about that. But for now, I'll get straight into the video and talk a little bit about why I took a test, because in general, I think that as mums, we can go overboard on the testing and like test too many times and too often. And I know I've definitely fallen into that trap before. So this time, what made me take a test was certain symptoms which I noticed, which first of all, I knew from last time, but also were somewhere a little bit different. So the things that I noticed this time was I was so moody. Oh my gosh, my poor husband. I literally was so upset for no real reason. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like apologizing the whole time to like my family, and I was like, I don't know why I'm really sad. I just don't understand, and like everything's going so well, and like, I had no real reason to be upset and no real reason to be kind of down about things, but I was really moody and kind of snappy and irritable. So that's not like me. For those of you who know me in real life, I'm not like that. That's not like sad Kitty, or like moody Kitty isn't all that different than normal Kitty. So that was the first thing that I noticed. I was like, okay, either like this is just my hormones kind of resettling and me coming back into myself postpartum, or this is something different. So, that was the first thing that I kind of noted down. The second thing was something that happened last time, which was this excessive thirst. So I was like waking the last like 3 or 4 nights. I was like waking in the night like, oh my gosh, like my mouth was dry, my throat was dry, like I needed water. It wasn't like, oh, I could do with like a glass of water. It was like I needed it. So I was actually having to like wake up in the night and like go downstairs to the kitchen and get a glass of water, which is like not something I would generally do. So that was huge. I also started peeing a lot more often, like straight away. And we know that this isn't necessarily because of the same reasons that happen down the line in pregnancy, where it's like weight on your bladder. It's because of how hard our kidneys are working to like process everything, and it's all really, really normal, but it can actually happen like a lot sooner than we realize, or a lot sooner than people talk about. I actually wrote down all the other ideas, so or other kind of things that I noticed. Dizziness. So in general, like I'm very mindful to like make sure that I'm drinking enough water and that I'm minding myself. I'm very conscious of my health. And I was noticing that I was like, if I stood up too quickly or like turned too quickly or like picked Atticus up from the ground, that I would get like a little dizzy spell. So that was something that I definitely noticed. And the other one was then when I started to kind of notice these things, I started to kind of be aware of my body a bit more, and I was starting to notice a little bit of cramping, like a little twinge, probably not something you would even notice unless you were tracking, but that was something that I was like, oh, okay, like what's going on here? Is this a little bit of implantation cramping? No spotting, no bleeding whatsoever. I didn't get any cramping or any spotting whatsoever on my pregnancy with Atticus, but with my first pregnancy with the little baby that we lost, I did. And I got, your typical implantation bleeding. And then I also had cramping, which led then to further cramping and then loss down the line. So I suppose that's kind of like got a negative association in my brain, but it can actually be very, very normal. So that's definitely something that I'm keeping in tune with, but also like not zoning in on too much. It's like that weird balance, isn't it? And I think particularly now that I have a little toddler to be running around after, I'm not going to be as zoned in on them as maybe I had been before with him. So it's something I'm kind of just trying to be a bit more chill about. Easier said than done. So at the moment, baby is only the size of a little poppy seed, which is so tiny, and you keep freaking yourself out. Like, I feel like I'm feeling like kicks, which is ridiculous because there's no way that's what I'm feeling, but I'm definitely more bloated. So I'll show you my belly in a minute, but like, I know that you definitely start to pop and start to show a little bit sooner the second time around or subsequent pregnancies, but this is definitely all just down to bloating. And but it's quite funny because I'm already kind of feeling my belly and like touching my belly, rubbing my belly, which is nice. I can't wait to feel those kicks. I love pregnancy for that. That's my favorite thing about pregnancy, is feeling the baby kick inside you. It's just crazy. So at the moment, the baby's still maintained by the corpus luteum, which means that generally you don't have to change much about your diet. So if I truly wanted to, I could have a glass of wine and it wouldn't negatively affect the baby. But that's a whole other conversation. But for the moment, I'm not really doing anything all that differently. My exercise is still the same. I'm not doing anything kind of new or anything different at all. I was already taking supplements prenatally. So I'm taking an iodine supplement, which actually, interestingly, in Spain, it's required and recommended that you take both a folate or folic acid, 200 micrograms, as well as an iodine supplement, but we just don't do it here in Ireland. So that's something that, having done the research, I'm now taking, and I did take with Atticus's pregnancy too. So I'm taking an iodine, a folate, and as well as that, an omega-3 fatty acid, because I am vegan, as well as a B12, which I would ordinarily take. But the iodine and the DHA is for brain development, and the folate is for neural tube development, which is particularly important up until the 12 weeks of pregnancy. But I think I'll talk a little bit more, maybe do a whole series throughout this pregnancy. It was something I kind of wanted to do last time, but I think I was just too scared to get in front of the camera. So I have like odd videos that I never actually even put up. So maybe I'll share them someday, but I'll definitely do, I think, a video a week, just kind of talking about how I'm feeling, what's happening, and the different changes that are going on in my body, showing my little bump. And the next one that I might do might be looking at the different supplements that I'm taking and different things that I'm going to do maybe differently in this pregnancy than I did in my last pregnancy. So far I've only told 2 people. this video is, I'm sure, going to be launched a little bit later, but I've told my husband and my sister. So I actually told my sister first because I wanted to do something really cute this time to announce my pregnancy to my husband. So the last time I did a little letter and wrote a really long letter and then had like a little ring box and a little sheet of paper with a little dot on it saying this is the size of our baby, like the size of a poppy seed, which is really cute, but I didn't actually film it. And he bawled his eyes out. And then this time I was like, okay, I need to do something a little bit different. And I told my sister first because I wanted her to be able to film it, but I think I'll actually put it up here. It's actually hilarious, like really, really funny. Not like, it's not your typical like over the moon reaction. He's blind as a bat, so that does not help. Make sure your husband has good eyesight, or make sure you're like catering your announcement to his eyesight, or her eyesight if you're married to a woman. But it's very funny, so I'll definitely share that. So that's the only people that I've told at the moment. I'm not sure when I'll feel ready to tell other people. I feel like while I'm a huge advocate for sharing your pregnancy early on so that you can have the support that you need if something does go awry, I feel like right now, particularly with like being out there on social media and things, I don't know if I would feel up to sharing negative news. So we'll see. I'll have to think about it. You might actually get an announcement video sooner rather than later, but we'll see. So for the moment, I will show you my little bump. So at the moment, no breast tenderness at all, but this is my little bump, teeny tiny, not a bump at all, more bloating than anything, but still super cute. I actually took a video of me finding out that I was pregnant too, so I might put that up too. I was in complete shock and disbelief, and still am, to be honest. It feels very strange to be filming this video, but please come and join me for this journey. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to share a lot of cool things about, you know, second time mama, vegan pregnancy, what I'm doing. I also work in the birth world, so I am a lactation consultant and a birth and postpartum doula. I have my own e-courses on hypnobirthing. I had a gorgeous, positive, gentle birth the last time, so I'm really hoping for that, hoping for a home birth this time. And I have a course on preparing to breastfeed, so please make sure and check those out. I'll see, can I kind of link them and link my website down below. But welcome to this journey, and please subscribe and come and join me, and give any suggestions down below for sort of videos that you would like to see.